Hello everyone, and welcome to my first ever building tutorial. In this tutorial, which is our first ever, I'm going to teach you all how to make some of my favorite, not all of them, but my favorite small trees. Now this is all my custom trees. This is only part one of the small trees segment. Oops, it seems like I've left some stuff up here. Um, there's gonna be more of these. You can see we only have a few variants over here. We still, let's say, we don't have, like a cherry blossom tree here, which is also a small tree design that I use, but we don't have it here. So this is just gonna be part one. We'll have a part two, perhaps even a part three, and then we'll also have part one and part two, and perhaps part three of big trees, so bigger versions of these, and I'll teach you how to build them. So to start off with, I'll just show you guys the trees that I'll be building today and showing you guys how to build. So we have first of all the spruce tree, which is just basic tree. We just use the spruce variants of the fence and the fence gate. We aren't using any blocks in this episode because these are small tree variants other than the leaves. So we've got the savannah tree over here. I haven't really built the savannah tree until now, so it's just the first try. Got Minty from my survival let's play, so guys check that out if you don't already watch it. We have a normal oak tree here. We have a small oak tree. We have a small birch tree. Kind of another small type of birch tree, but it's slightly different. It's more kind of like a pointy cypress kind of small one, but it's a bit smaller. We've got This is going to be a very small tree that I'll show you in a minute here once we're done with all of these trees. And then to end off the video, we have a few tips here on what you can use to spruce up your tree. So you can use sideways gates. You can use these new nether blocks like weeping vines to look like little leaves or certain types of apples or whatever to grow off your trees. You can even use full blocks in some trees, like for example you wouldn't even use lapis lazuli, but you can use nether wart. Is a pretty good example. It looks like kind of crushed up apples. You can put them in big trees so they look like apples. You can use flower pots and flowers, which I'll show you later on how you can use those in trees. Use string and cobwebs. You can also use vines. I forgot to put them here. I'll put them on one of those places over there. You can use snow for certain seasons. You can use even glass panes look really nice. If you get, let's say, a red glass pane over here and you put them in trees, they can look pretty nice, and they're really good for when you do the cherry blossom tree. You can of course use beehives and bees. You can actually use, the thing is, using when you use bees and leads, a lead, there you go. It's really good because let's say you would have, I don't know, a beehive on this tree. You can actually use the fences they're kind of like multifunctional. You can also use them not only as a tree, but it looks like the bee will always stay in that one place. Looks like they're just hovering around the tree. So when you go a bit far away, it looks like that just bee just loves that tree, doesn't want to fly around. So that's really a good trick there. And of course, lighting, last but not least, is lighting. So like lighting is pretty good. You can put it underneath your trees. You can somehow try and find a way to attach them to your tree itself. Like you can, let's see, where's the place? Yeah, you can put them over here and like that. You can try and fit lighting into your trees and make it really look good. Anyway, let's get straight on to building these trees. So to start off first, we have the spruce tree. So here is how you build the spruce tree. So let's gather our materials for this tree, which are just the spruce fence, the spruce leaves, and the spruce fence gate. Now, when you build this tree, you have usually just a center, line of fences, which you can really do to whatever height you would want. I recommend probably 6 to about 8 fences tall. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't recommend going higher than this, otherwise it will start to become a big tree. Now I've seen some people kind of build similar spruce trees to this, not the same ones that I built, but like using fences. and they say to build up to maybe 10 and no more than 10. However, for me that feels really high, and I don't really like that kind of height on it. So I'd say probably the maximum you should do is 8. Then what I'd like to do is we either start with these two blocks, the first well, not this one, but the first two after that over here, and I just start creating branches. I use fence gates over here like this, and we go like that. So we start around here or here, but the best is probably the penultimate one over here. Then you put fence gates around to make branches, the first few, and then you use fence fence gates. If it does say fence gates for this, I meant fences. And then you put fence gates around, and they look like smaller branches. And you can even open up the fence gate, and it'll look like really small branches, look like very two small branches. So you can also do that. So, but I'll just leave that for now, and we can add those after. Actually, we'll put one over there. Actually, let's get rid of that one, and we'll put one like that. Yeah, that looks good. So you get the basic shape like this. Then you start putting in the spruce leaves. Now, what you try to want to create is a little kind of like section like this, where it looks like the tree is kind of curving outwards. So I tend to create 3 of those sections on the small trees. So what we do is we just start laying leaves, okay? Don't really think about it too much. Just start creating the spruce shape, which is kind of like a circle-ish, kind of squarish, whatever you like to, what kind of spruce tree you would like to do. So start laying it out like this. So this is kind of the bottom layer, really. This is what the bottom layer is going to be like. And then we're going to build it up from there. So you just start laying in these leaves, just draw a couple, put in some, leave some spaces, things like that. And go out a little bit, because you don't want to get too close to the branches, you want to leave some space coming outwards, and you want to kind of create little outfits like this, but not too far out, just a little bit, just like that. And this will help create the spruce tree effect. You just continue like this all the way up, and if you don't like how it looks, the important thing is if it does not look very nice to you, do not follow your guts, really follow your guts. So if it does not look nice, even if it's huge, like this is what I feel about some buildings sometimes, when it looks really, like it's really big but it's really ugly, sometimes the best thing to do is just tear it down and start moving. But this once you start like the look of this, then we have to bring it out a little bit over here because of that branch. Then once you get the nice look that you want, then you're going in the right path. So you go like this, go like that, and here we go. We're starting to get a nice feel here, and we'll leave those branches coming out, and then we'll leave some the outbits again come out over here like this, and yep, that's starting to look good. And then we go like this and like this, and this is pretty good looking, I have to say. So let's go like that and leave some open spaces. If you make it look too crowded with leaves, then it does not look that well, like does not look that nice, I have to say, because it just looks like you just spamming leaf blocks everywhere, and it looks like it doesn't really look like a custom tree. Then it looks like just a normal tree with its blocks in every single space. And try to, even though some places look empty, what is here's a good tip: just fill it in from over here in the inside, not from the outside, because from the outside it might end up looking worse. So we go like this, and here we go. So how does this look? You see so far? Yep, looking decent. Okay, so I mean, this is pretty good for now. Yep, I like how this is going. And then once you get to the top of these fences, you put either 2 blocks of leaves above it or 3 blocks. Usually I put 3. And if you want, you can even make it 4 or 5 or whatever, but then it starts to look like a bit weird. But 4 or 3 or whatever you like to do is pretty good. So you can even go like that or like that, you know, make it look really nice. So that's how you do a spruce tree. So now let's get onto the savannah tree. So the savannah tree. Now with the savannah tree, I've never really built a savannah custom tree before, so if you guys don't like this design that much, I understand, but it's just new to me. And you can add little your own features sometimes. Actually, the thing is, I didn't actually build this uh, um, acacia or a chacha tree out of actual achacha wood. I think that's the actual name for achacha, but I call it acacia. So if I call it acacia, please bear with me. So I actually use jungle uh, fences as it looks more normal. It looks like it fits the actual real achacha kind of color. And you can also switch out the leaves, but I use just the normal achacha leaves. You can actually use, if you go into leaves, you can use different types of leaves. You can use jungle leaves, and you can also use dark oak leaves, and you can have a mixture. Because the jungle leaves look like these little fruits, so you can add in some of these and make it look like more, like berries coming off the tree, and it looks like, more like an acacia or a chacha style tree, which is actually, this actually looks pretty good. So I recommend once you're done with the actual tree, you just sprinkle a few of these around, and it looks 10 times better, I have to say. This looks really good. Because it looks like, some giraffes which live in the savannah would eat this or something like that. And it kind of fits the vibe that this tree kind of gives off. Anyway, so that now we've added those, it looks way better. But now let me teach you how to build this tree. So what you want to do is you want to use these materials. So you're going to get the acacia or acacia leaves, the jungle fence, and the jungle fence gate. Now, when we start off with the actual trunk design over here, what we do is we have the main little piece. Now, you can either use 3 blocks of fences or 4 blocks or 2 blocks if you really wanted to, but I think the best is about 3 blocks or 4 blocks. If you want, you can really do 5 if you really wanted to, but I'd say anywhere from 2 to 5 is good for the main segment over here. As you can see here, we added 3, so over here we'll do 4. And then you want to kind of create branches going outwards. Don't make any branches below or on the second block, otherwise it looks very cramped. I mean, you can try it, but I don't recommend it. Then you can put in some fence gates like this. You can also put some sideways ones like that, and try to make these all go in different directions and kind of create a natural tree shape. So you go like this, up, up, like that. You can have multiple branches coming off of each other, like this. Then we go up here. Actually, you know what? Let's take it off. I recommend not to bring the middle one up more than this. I haven't done it there, but some people, you can build it up like that and as well as bring it out, but I recommend don't go any further in the single part. Okay, go like that and like this perhaps. And try to make it kind of lopsided. Don't try to make everything central. Try to make it going out on one side more than some other sides. So like this, and it's kind of lopsided on this side, as you can see. Now I recommend when I did this tree myself, with the leaves, really the best tip advice I could give you, like with this one I told you to try and create that spruce shape. With this one, the best advice I can give you is just experiment, really. So what you can do is really just create just like a shape around here with the around the fence fence gates and fences, and kind of create like a little kind of oval slash circle shape, and you can get a really nice looking design. So that one, this one, I was actually lucky, kind of fits the acacia thing, feel. So we just fill it out a little bit for now. We just go like this, we go like that, and we'll just do like this, just go like this, we'll just go, basically just spam some leaves, okay? And then you kind of work around it later. So you just go like this. I mean, this isn't really the best advice I could give you for an acacia, because I've never really done a cha-cha or acacia things before. But this is how I did this one over here, and I quite like it. Personally, I like it. I don't know if you guys like it. So you go up like this, go, and you know, this is starting to look pretty nice. So there we go. Just kind of flatten it out over here a little bit, maybe like that. And then, yep, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's, we got the main structure out. You can even leave it like this if you wanted to. However, if you wanted to make it more circular, you can do it like that. So we'll make this one less circular. Maybe make it look a bit more savannah-like actually. And you just remove a little bit, few blocks like this. Just remove a few. Make sure you get like some out of there. Go like that. Go like that actually. Move that one. Move that one. Move that one. Look like some of the leaves, you know, have just been withered away by, you know, storms or something, or like been eaten by giraffes or the animals that live in that kind of area. Okay, so that looks pretty nice, I have to say. Then what you want to do is you have to come in the center and kind of fill it out here. You go acacia leaf there, acacia leaves there. Don't try and spam the blocks, just place them down in places you think will look pretty nice in. And then bring it low if you want it to. And that's basically an acacia tree. Like I said, you can also fit in some jungle leaves about here, so you can just go like this. Make it look like little fruits are growing on the tree. And that's how you make it look pretty nice, I have to say. And it looks pretty good. And here's a little tip for you. Sometimes keeping the actual wood on the inside isn't always the best idea. Sometimes you can replace it with actual leaves. So you can just go like this, now go like this. It makes it look sometimes better. However, that's not always the case, but you see in that tree look maybe a little bit better. Over here you can even do that as well. So if you get the acacia, you can put an acacia block here, acacia leaves there, and you know it kind of looks natural. I would, you know, sometimes it's not always the best case, but sometimes, you know, it might look better like that. So if you put, you know, jungle leaves there, you could put some even like this, you know, some trees look better like that. But I think for now this looks pretty nice. So that's a general cha-cha tree. Now let's get on to what I call uh, an apple tree. So here is what I call the apple tree, and it's not really my best designed tree. You know, it's, I probably had some better looking ones because basically the only cousin tree that I really built before is the spruce one and these little mini ones here, these mini ones actually. So these other ones here are kind of new to me. Anyway, also here's a little bee friend. Anyway, here's the apple tree design. So basically, what you do with this tree is it's just a normal kind of oak tree, but it's not as, you know, chunky as an oak tree. An oak tree would usually be, you know, bigger like this, and then also I'm using long leaves, aren't I? Yeah. Actually, I use dark oak leaves for this oak tree, because the dark oak actually looks kind of good for these oak trees. But usually an oak tree would be like this. It'd be a bit chunkier and be way bigger than this, right? Let's show you here. Of course, I won't be teaching you how to build an oak tree in this episode because it's just part 1. Part 2 will probably have the normal oak tree. And this is just me just spamming box really. But yeah, that's not an oak tree, but you can get the point. It'd be way bigger than the apple tree that I built over here. And I'll teach you guys how to build this apple tree. It's really just a small version of an oak tree, and I kind of like this version. Actually, more than the oak tree version, actually. So, let's just quickly just fix this one back up. I mean, I kind of destroyed it quite a lot there. Okay, that's a little bit, yeah, that's fixed up really. Okay, so let me teach you guys how to fix this up and build it. Sorry, and if you guys are wondering why I call it the apple tree, is if I show you over here, we use this leaping vine, and where did it go? I also had an item frame with an apple in here. I don't know where it went. If you get item frame and apple, over here. Um, okay, well, item frame is also gone, and also I noticed something else here that's gone, which is an armor stand, which was also here previously. Don't know where that's gone. Anyway, so with these apple and this item frame, you can kind of fit in some red blocks in here, and or like item frames with apples and make it look like an apple tree. It kind of gives off that nice apple tree kind of vibe when you walk past a bit. It looks like you can see little red things in there which look like apples or are actually apples in the tree. So when you walk by, you can see the red. Don't put it on the outside of the tree. That's a mistake many people make, because then you can see the actual item frame. Just put it on the inside. Try and find places on the inside, like there, and there's a good place. Let's see. Yep, there's a good place. Just place them around so that when you walk from far away, you can see that it kind of has the apple kind of effect. And you can also use this weeping vine. This you can't really place it on leaves, but if you get like a wooden block in there, or some sort of slab, let's see if you can get an oak slab in there. Uh, let's see. Well, I can't really find a place to really fit it in there, but if you let's say there was a space in there, you can really put like a weeping vine there, and then you would use the string to block that off so it just looks a little bit. But if you want, you can grow it down a little bit and look like apples. Okay, anyway, let's teach you guys how to build this. So first, you'd want to get the oak fence gate, and I used dark oak leaves for this. I didn't actually use oak. But here's a little tip. You can kind of mix them, because if you see, there's actually a small difference between dark oak. Not many people can notice it, but not only is it a variant, as you can see, let's say there's two leaves here, there's only one leaf there. Not only is it a variant, but it's a slight difference in color. And this one is also way more compact, really. The leaves are pushed together, and these ones aren't. So see, the dark oak is way clustered, and the oak is more airy and slightly lighter. Actually, they're using the same colors, but the fact that it's more airy makes it look lighter. So it's a really good effect. Anyway, so if we come out here with the oak fence gate, actually just line up with these trees and this tree, um, is that if you use the oak fence gate and just create a little pillar design here, probably about the highest I would go is probably 6 fences. And what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the highest bit I would go is probably 6. Really, if you really wanted to, you can go 7. And if you make big apple trees, then you can go higher. And you can actually, with apple trees, I would actually actually I would use big blocks. But if you kind of make this kind of style, I would never use the big blocks. Okay, then what you want to do is you just add um little what you might call it, little branches. They don't have to be that big. Like you can see how that one I made kind of big. They don't have to be super big, really. Just need to be little ones over here. Make that one slightly big, and then that one big, and then that one big. Actually, let's put a fence gate for that one. And then what you do is you start laying down the dark oak leaves. You just start kind of making just a little kind of tree shape over here, like this. So you just keep going around like this. and you kind of get a nice tree shape. Just kind of make like a circle, really. Just make a circle. Don't put too many blocks, you know, break some blocks. Like I said before, just make kind of a circular, kind of bubble, whatever shape, whatever you like to call it. And you know, you can leave some airy spaces where you would of course add, you know, the item frames and apples. You don't have to add them in there, but this is just an example. You know, when you make this tree, you don't always have to add apples. And then go like this, you can go like this, go like that, go like that. Okay, so we kind of get the apple tree kind of shape here. I'm gonna make this more round actually. And I mean, this is not too bad, not too shabby tabby cat. It's pretty nice looking tree. It's a very small tree, I have to say, and then just break some blocks. Actually, let's add that one back to make it more roundish. And like that. And yep, that looks pretty nice. If you want, you can make it, of course, more flat at the top here, but sometimes making it look odd makes it more natural, if you understand what I mean. Then you can, of course, add your own little effects there. You can also switch out some of these leaves for oak leaves to make it more airy. And that's why I recommend with the apple tree to make it look more airy. But with the places where you put the apples, I recommend the dark oak leaves so you can't really see the actual item frame itself. So just add some oak leaves and it looks pretty good to say. So that's the apple tree. Now we have the mini oak. Also our little bee friend over here from earlier. So the mini tree is just the same blocks, dark oak and oak leaves really. Um, I recommend, you know, both types of leaves, they both work. And what you really want to do is you just want to create a little small stem, any size works. Just two, maybe four or five, and just little make little 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 branches out here. Uh, Trying to get this one sideways, and then you just plop down some oak leaves. Just plop them. Just put, probably don't put even more than 20 or so oak leaves on here, and you get a little nice looking oak tree. If you get this down here, I have actually one of these on my survival world near my TNT shop. So here, um, up here, and just try to create it more round. Really, if you're struggling to get the shape, kind of actually make the shape first around the tree, and then destroy the little bits. So if you're struggling, just go like this, and then destroy some bits like that, and then just destroy some bits. Make sure you destroy them evenly. Don't destroy too many in one place is what I mean when I say evenly. And then go up here and then swap out some of these over here, and then dark oak tree, and there we go. That looks pretty nice actually, I have to say. It's a pretty good looking tree. And even sometimes I recommend that if you make like a building, let's say we had a wall here, I recommend that sometimes putting, if it feels very flat, I recommend putting a tree next to it. And when the fences connect, you can kind of create a tree design here. So if you make like a dirt wall here, for example, you can kind of create like this effect and kind of go like this and then like this, and then you can kind of patch it over the leaves, and you kind of get a wall tree. And this is a really nice looking tree. God, yeah. And that's what I have on my survival. And it's a really good looking tree, I have to say. And you can even, when you have it against the wall, you can make it even taller because it looks more natural there. You can make it fit the size of your actual wall, really. and it looks way more natural on the wall. So as you can see, that actually kind of works. So I'll just quickly break this, and then I'll show you the other trees. But the thing is, really, when you have this tree, it's actually very similar to the next tree, which is the birch. Basically, it's a birch version of this tree. And basically you do what we did on this tree, but you just do it again, but with the birch variants. You just do birch wood, birch fence gates, and birch leaves. So I don't think I really have to build that one for you guys. I think you just follow this one and this one with those steps, but you just substitute in these woods and these woods and these leaves. Now the final one, the birch kind of spiky tree or whatever you like to call it. And there's also an oak variant for this, but like this one, the oak one you can just copy and substitute. But the oak one is kind of a cypress tree, but I haven't built in this one because we're going to probably do that in part 2 or part 3, if there is a part 3. So let's get straight onto this one. So with this one, you'd want to, let's just line up here. You just want to create a little kind of birch, like, trunk or whatever you like to call it. And then you don't really put too many branches on this one, actually. Even if I don't actually recommend putting branches on this at all, but if you do put branches, I recommend put them very high up. And if you do them, the best ones are really just the fence gates, because the fence gates just make it very small, compact. Let's just try to get this the right way around. Compact and make it look more natural. Then what you want to do is create a little kind of small area around here, and then kind of build it up here, just like I showed you on my survival with the cypress tree. I did a small kind of tutorial kind of thing there in my survival. And if you come up here and we just continue building up, you can block that side. You don't always have to block the sides of these branches, but sometimes it might look better if you do it like that. And you kind of create that kind of roundish shape. Then at the top, you eventually um, get to this point where you start making it spikier like this. And there we go. And then what you can really do if you wanted to is, block off some sides, get rid of some places where there shouldn't be leaves, and you get this really nice looking tree. So that's basically the final tree. And if you don't account for this small tree which I'm about to show you, I haven't actually built it here because there's no actual real definite way to build this tree. It's kind of your own imagination, whatever you like to say, way of building it. It's basically whatever you want it to be. So what I mean is, when I build this tree, it's kind of the tree type itself is kind of like a tropical tree, not a palm tree. But if you go to, let's say, a small island, you'd see very small shrubs and bushes, and there's different types of them. And you can kind of build it using just these blocks, the jungle blocks, because it's the tropical kind. But you can basically, you can make tall ones, like really tall ones, and then have, like stuff like this come off of them, like this, and then kind of like a palm tree maybe, and you can have it like that. And you can have it like a tree like that or something, or you can have a smaller variant where it just like 2 blocks or 3 blocks on fence gates, and you just go like this. It's not really a tree, it's kind of like a bush, but it's kind of made into, like, you can kind of make it look like a tree. It looks got the branches inside. So it's not really a tree. Well, it can be a tree. It's whatever you really want it to be. So this tree is really good uh, whenever you're building tropical, builds, because you can just fit this around everywhere. Really, it's kind of like bushes, small trees, whatever you like it to be. you can spit this around everywhere, the place, all over the place, really. So you can just go like this. And if you want to make the big version, I'll show you how to do that right now. You just extend this a little bit, put in a little bit branches here like this, and then this is kind of basically the big version is kind of just a palm tree kind of thing. You kind of come down here, and come around over here, and then we get over here, and we kind of get a palm shape up over here. We add these, and then will just put some blocks up here, and then just kind of cap off this canopy up here, and then you can put some, you know, homemade coconuts or whatever, like your own coconut design in there for the actual part of that tree. So yeah, it's kind of like a little palm tree or fruit tree, whatever you like to call it, like a guava tree, just, you know, a little tropical tree, almost like a palm tree really. But I'll teach you guys how to make a small palm tree in part 2. However, a palm tree with just fences is very hard to make. So uh, when you guys want to see a proper palm tree, I'll do it in the big trees section, because this episode is most likely going to be called small trees, small custom trees part 1 building tutorial. So with this, it's just, you know, not really a palm tree, but palm tree, I'll teach you guys how to make a proper palm tree in the big custom trees part 1 most likely. Also, hello wandering trader. And then last but not least, we have these tips and tricks. So with the tips and tricks, let me just throw out my stuff and explain to you guys what these tips and tricks can do. I explained some of them at the beginning of the episode, but let's explain all of them now. So with the armor stand is not really something you can do in vanilla. However, if you have this data pack called the armor stands data pack, you can kind of add things to your tree. Let's say you can make a custom kind of lion, and you can sit it on top of an acacia tree or something. Or you can put, instead of using item frames, you can use apples on these armor stands, or you can use invisible item frames, or you can put you know you can put like certain things on them, like let's say over here you could put like another word to look at cherries or something like that. Or you can actually put like I said, for the jungle leaves, it looks like little beans, you can actually put cocoa beans, you know. So it's not really vanilla. We went over the item frame and apples and certain blocks of that. And I also went over how you don't always have to use the side of a fence gate, you can also open it up against the branch. So not always like this, but you can also go it like this. So it looks like smaller twigs really. Then I talked about how the new nether block can also have an impact. Big blocks, this works for some of these trees, but it's better for the big trees, so we won't go over this right now, we'll go over it in the next few episodes. Then we have flower pots and flowers. So you just, oops, get a flower pot. We just type that in. Oh, let's put that back there. So let's say over here we go over with this tree, the tree with the bee on it. Let's make it happy and get some flowers. So you can, Azure Blue Ray is kind of a good example of a flower that would look like it grow on a tree. So you kind of drop this around, and it looks like this flower is actually growing off the tree. You know, you don't have to put too many. You can also put them on the inside, and you know when you come by, it looks like that tree's got a flowers on it. It's like a floral um, tree. You can also put it on these kind of trees, you know, and it looks pretty nice. You can also use different flowers like poppies and dandelions. However, some flowers do not look good on trees. For example, if you go into the decorations, um, let's see here. Uh, for example, an oxeye daisy won't look that well and nice on it. Um, you know, probably tulips won't look that nice on it, but you guys can experiment it for yourselves and check it out. And then after that, you can also use cobwebs, you know, to make the tree look old. We'll also do a dead tree in the next episode on part 3. Also use strings, and you can use vines. Now I forgot to mention this before, but with this tree here I actually use vines and string over here to make the tree more round and more textured. So you can go like this and make the tree look a bit more textured and round, and you can use string to stop it at certain points. You can also use it for those nether vines. Then you also have the snow, like I talked about. For certain seasons, you can make the tree snowy. You know, if you go like this, and this looks like it's been a winter. You know, even though let's say you're not in a snow biome, you can make it look like it's been snowy. You can also put levels of snow, and that's where it starts to come into lots of detail. Then after that, you've got glass paints, which you don't really use that much over here. The only tree that I can think about over here that you would use glass paints for is the apple tree once again, with red ones to make it look like apples. I would most likely use these other than these trees over here for most likely a cherry blossom tree, but we haven't built that in this episode, and it's very hard to build with fence gates. The next is a beehive, like I explained with the bee over there, and then lighting can make a difference, like I said. And that's basically all. That's going to be it for from me in this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's a little bit a different one. It's not a redstone tutorial. It's not my survival let's play, but it's a tutorial on how to do some custom trees part one. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If we get you know, like quite some good views on this one and people like it, seem to enjoy this, then I will make a part two on some other trees, and then we'll also do the big version where we use the actual blocks, like the actual big blocks, and you know, do insane detail on those, and I'll teach you guys how to do that. But that's gonna be it from me in this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.